Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. There's a fascinating fight that's happening on the undercard of Floyd Mayweather against Shane Mosley, and I expect Floyd to win that fight. On the undercard, there's a matchup between Miguel Cotto's older brother, Jose Miguel Cotto, and he is fighting Saul Alvarez, an unbeaten fighter out of Mexico who's generating a lot of buzz. Now, Jose Miguel Cotto, who is 32 years old, has actually fought twice for the lightweight title. But understand, this fight is at welterweight. I believe it might be the best fight to bet on the Mayweather-Mosley card, right? If you're getting the lousy odds that are out there right now on Floyd, and I believe Floyd is going off at a minus 450 as I make this video in mid-April, take a look at Saul Alvarez. I believe Saul Alvarez is an uncrowned champion. I'm very impressed by this guy, and I believe Jose Miguel Cotto, who only has one loss, is tailor-made for Saul Alvarez. I like Alvarez in this fight. I think Saul Alvarez wins the fight and bursts onto the national stage. Quite frankly, although Alvarez is only 19 years old, I personally consider him to be the second best fighter fighting on the entire card. In other words, I think at this point in his career, an argument can be made that Saul Alvarez is better than Sugar Shane Mosley. Alvarez is much taller than Jose Miguel Cotto. He's going to tower over him by 3, 4 inches. Not only that, Jose Miguel Cotto, who doesn't have a big punch, is a straight ahead lead puncher, not a counter puncher, and he does best when he's pursuing you. He's kind of like Joe Frazier. He's just pursuing you, throwing a lot of punches. He's going to put in a lot of work. Here's the problem. Saul Alvarez actually uses the entire ring. You're talking about a guy who can actually dance around, come in, and hit you from distance. And what I like with Alvarez is, although when he gets an opponent hurt, he does double up, triple up, quadruple up on that right hand, he can actually hurt you with either hand. He's also one of those guys who, even though he's 19, has completely figured out the sport. He does veteran tricks where he will fake like he's coming in. He's very unpredictable. He's very accurate. He sets up his opponent kind of like Arthur Abraham sets up an opponent. The super middleweight, former middleweight champion, sets up an opponent where he'll throw, wide punches. Then he'll come in with very accurate hard shots to take out an opponent. I don't believe that Jose Miguel Cotto is going to be able to deal with Saul Alvarez's foot speed or length, because Alvarez, of course, isn't right in front of you unless he has to be. Also, Alvarez, pretty hard puncher, can stop guys. He has 23 knockouts, and I believe he's the kind of fighter who hits you when you don't expect it. Not only that, he's so sure of himself that literally about the third round of his fights, you'll actually notice the dynamic change where Alvarez will literally start dropping his hands and will just start pursuing his opponent. So sure is he that he's softened up the opponent. I like this guy a lot. I think it's only a matter of time before he starts fighting for world titles. I think this is really a coming out fight. Don't be fooled by 32-year-old Jose Miguel Cotto's uh, record. He hasn't fought that much against quality competition since 2007. Again, he's 32. has not held a world championship from one of the major sanctioning bodies. I think he had a lesser belt earlier in his career, but he certainly hasn't held an IBF, WBA, WBC belt. And even though his record is good, I believe it's somewhat padded. On YouTube is an excellent video of his fight against Juan Diaz. He fought Diaz for Diaz's lightweight title, I believe, in 2006, and it is an interesting fight because Cotto is so aggressive that he even had the hyper aggressive Juan Diaz backing up in the fight. The problem with that is simply if a fighter is going to fight you in a straight line, you know exactly where he is. There's a limit on what that fighter can do in the sport. Think about the great fighters that you know, the Manny Pacquiao's, the Floyd Mayweathers. They're rarely coming at you in a straight line. They use angles to keep their opponents off balance. They cannot just stand right in front of an opponent and try to trade for 12 rounds. That's Cotto's style. I would not be surprised if Saul Alvarez is able to win this fight by KO. Give this fight a look. I would just take Alvarez to win, but if you want to throw a few dollars also on Alvarez by KO as just part of your bet, then you might want to do that. Saul Alvarez is that gifted. I believe he's an uncrowned champion. Keep an eye on him. If he's fighting anyone short of Floyd Mayweather, you want to seriously consider taking him. I believe this guy is that good. Let me know what you think. This fight is on the undercard of Floyd Mayweather, Shane Mosley. I give the promoter a lot of respect for giving us a quality undercard with quality prospects like Saul Alvarez. Certainly, the card is a good one. Let me know what you think. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. And as I always say, if I'm wrong, punish me in the ratings here on YouTube. But if I'm right, give me 5 stars. Thanks for watching.